Hello, Central Oregon. Eric Pasha here with Home Source of Neighbor Impact. Today, I am here with Chef Fiddler to share some stories and provide a bit of inspiration to help you stay financially well through the coronavirus pandemic. Good news here. Chef Fiddler is the owner of We're the Wurst, a maker of gourmet USDA sausages made from his own recipe with lots of trial and error, I hear. After starting with a food cart, Chef Fiddler has expanded to create European foods for restaurants and grocery stores with USDA sausage making and that process at the center. Chef Fiddler, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Really curious about how things are going for you. How have things changed for you and your business over the past few weeks with everything going on?
Yeah, so COVID-19 has really impacted restaurants, really had an adverse impact on them. A lot of our business was to restaurants before COVID-19. In a sense, it's really forced us to diversify and really has been the impetus to make us go into grocery stores and really pursue that different, diverse, for lack of a better term, leg of the business that was open to us, but because we were so comfortable with providing for restaurants and with all the great feedback and all that stuff, sometimes a business can get a little comfortable in what we know. And then, so really what COVID-19 did is it just kind of closed those options for us. And thankfully, we just kind of, like I said, we stopped, twisted, pivot, shot a three. And, we're in a grocery stores and gaining steam. So it feels pretty good.
Perfect. I love it. So you've really gotten, sounds like, the proper motivation to say, look, this was always something that was available to us, but now we're going to really take advantage of this now that we've got the time, maybe a little bit of resources on our hands to be able to do that.
Exactly. What was helpful is that I don't want to say that they have a higher standard, but restaurants are different. Chefs are picky. And so we kind of proved the product in that sort of way as well, so that the other aspect of the business, selling to grocery stores and that kind of thing, was kind of, it was in the wing. It just the COVID-19 kind of became the burning platform in which we had to jump off.
That's right. So it sounds like one of the big pivots that you've made is, of course, with restaurant business, you saying it going down by 99%, right? Almost
pretty much
at this point. Moving into grocery stores, what kind of adaptations and adjustments have you had to make with your business to marshal those resources to make those changes from restaurants to grocery stores?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, wholesale, you're looking at wholesale packaging, one label covers 10 pounds, that kind of thing. Well, what's the cost of a label? Well, since you as a consumer need to see the label on every product, I can't just, label 10 pounds and then have unlabeled bratwurst sitting in the store. So there are some small details just to work out as far as that goes. There's definitely been a learning curve, and a lot of the grocery stores have just been really gracious to work with us. We're brand new to everything, so they've been really gracious, just saying, hey, dude, this one got an air puncture. All right, do the small business thing and replace it, that kind of deal. So whereas restaurants would be like, oh, whatever, we're just going to cook them anyways. The grocery store has kind of a larger expectation. We were pretty well prepared to make the shift. It was just kind of one of those things that it sort of forced the hand, and made us to become more diversified.
Right. It looks like, again, that motivation, there are things that are very different from what you were doing just 6 weeks ago, but there are things that are very much the same, right? The quality of the product, making food that folks enjoy. Again, you pointed to that high standard of quality for restaurants. Well, that hasn't changed moving to grocery store, but maybe some of the packaging and those supply lines need updating.
Exactly. Well, and the other thing too is I had to buy a refrigerator truck. So, there are other things that we had to do in order to get into these new avenues of business. And of course, if you've got the business there, then you do it, right? If you don't have the business, don't buy a refrigerator truck. But, Yeah, thankfully, the recipe stayed the same, the process still stays the same, the sausage is still the same, and really what you're doing is you're just really kind of just twisting the product, not really twisting the product, but we're kind of shifting gears in order to just meet that market's demand. It's pretty
Right.
simple.
Perfect. Now, what thoughts do you have for any other business owners that are trying to navigate through this time with everything going on? Of course, there's going to be a lot of folks from kind of in your industry providing food and things like that, but then, other industries here in Central Oregon and beyond. What kind of thoughts do you have for other business owners during this time?
You know what, man? It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, I don't know that if they make it, and that's a real concern, is that if they make it, then there's like what do you say? It's such a tough thing, especially for the restaurant industry. There's going to be those that become stronger from it, just like my business. We became more diversified. So when the restaurant business comes back, then we get that other stream of revenue back, and then things are actually better than they were before. So in that same vein, just try and get creative. It's easier said than done, man. It is tough times. Restaurants are in a certain boat because they're so cash flow dependent. And I know, because like you said, I was in food carts for a long time, and straight up, this would have sunk me. I mean, not even going to try and round that corner at all. It's such a cash flow dependent business that if you're not getting creative, and what I've seen with some of the food carts and restaurants, they're doing these catering, almost catering like family style dinners, right? Really creative, really good, cost effective for the family that's struggling to. And I think that there are surmountable and feasible ways that the business owners can look at this and say, okay, how do we need to shift gears too? The answer isn't doing nothing.
Right.
Doing nothing is not an answer. Finding a creative and effective way to say, okay, this is really hard, but these are feasible ways that we can kind of tackle this. It is really, really hard. I mean, so there's no silver bullet for it. What I just say is keep putting your head down, keep going in and out, day in, day out, clock in, clock out. Things will get brighter, and people will start spending the money again. And especially that restaurant industry, though, it's just, you got to get creative.
It sounds like you've done a really good job at leveraging the skills that you already have, making a good quality product. And again, that creativity that you talked about, rounding that corner, being able to find new models of service, delivering things in a slightly different way, but really leaning on that skills-based approach that you've done so well, and then being creative about, well, how are we going to translate these skills to this new world that we found ourselves in the last few months?
Yeah, well, before stores were really heating up, and of course everything starts slow and then builds, right? Before that, I offered free front doorstep delivery for orders of $65 or more. Now you can kind of see that the restaurants are doing that, and they're relying heavily on Grubhub and all these delivery services, so to speak. And that's just smart. That's just smart business, and it's staying on your toes and saying, okay, what does my customer need right now? Like, let's try and meet that need so that they are satisfied, they remember that we exist, and then also, of course, we're in business, so we do business. It's tough, and that was just one little way, but it was enough to kind of just say, hey, listen, we're not laying on our back here. We're not twiddling our thumbs. We're still making sausage, and we're doing our best to provide for the community. And so just free front doorstep delivery was something that kind of just really spurred on the business for me, doing that quick shift from restaurants to direct to consumer, so to speak. And that really helped. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no silver bullet. The restaurants are really hurting. But delivering and doing the door services and all that stuff. The family takeout dinners, some of them have been really thriving. So there are creative ways that we can kind of work on that cash flow problem.
Excellent. Some great ideas there. Chef Fiddler, I want to thank you for your time today, sharing everything that you've been up to recently. I truly appreciate your time today.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
You bet. This has been another edition of the Coronavirus Financial Survival Guide. I'm Eric Pasha with Home Source of Neighbor Impact. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourself.